Back at Fort Morgan High School, we have the starting lineups here for the Weld Central Rebels, and Derek Fife Medina is a 6'2 senior. Brandon Blackston is a 6'2 junior. Tommy Vestal is a 6'2 senior. And Adam Martinez is a 6 foot senior. So that is the starters for the Weld Central Rebels. For Fort Morgan, it will be Leo Lopez, Tony Swetzik, Joey Snyder, Wes Anderson, and Eric Kimball. So Eric Kimball is the leading scorer for the Mustangs this year. He does have 211 points, averaging 11.7 points a game. So Fort Morgan needing this win to move into 5th place in the league standings, try to get that one notch closer to try to get into the playoffs. So Fort Morgan, coached by Chad Unrein. His assistant coaches are C.W. Scott, Paul Girk, and Harrison Chisholm. So Wes Anderson to jump for the Mustangs. He will go against Cody Bowen, a 6'3 senior. And Bowen wins that tip, and it will go to Blackston. Blackston brings it up into their half court. He takes it over on the right wing, now underneath to Bowen. He dribbles back out to the corner, and we have an injury to Blackston. Got hit over on the right corner. So they're going to take a look at him for a minute. Just into this game, 7:46 to go still in the first period. So Blackston is going to take a seat. And they're going to see who they pick to bring in, and that is going to be Ben Troop, who comes into the game for Blackston. I don't think Blackston is hurt too bad. I think he'll be back in a little bit later. He just needs to recover. So now Martinez guarded by Swetzik. Now over to Vestal. Now over to Bowen. Bowen fakes the drive. He is in the top of the lane now. He gets it over to Vestal. Vestal back over to Martinez. Martinez drives down the lane. His shot is up and no good. But they are going to call a foul on the shot. And that's going to go against Wes Anderson. So that's going to be Anderson's first. So Martinez to go to the line to shoot 2. His first shot is up and rolls around and good. So Martinez with the first point of the game puts the Rebels up 1-0 with 7:23 to go in the first period. Shot number 2 is off the back of the rim and no good. Rebounded to Joey Schneider, but taken away by Bowen. His shot goes over the rim. And then taken by Leo Lopez, but he's going to be tied up over on the right wing over there, but ball will go to Fort Morgan. So Tony Swetzik to inbounds to Leo Lopez. So Lopez to get the ball across half court to Eric Kimball out high on the right wing. Now to Lopez, back out to Lopez to Swetzik on the left high wing. Now to Lopez, who holds it out high. Now back to Kimball, over to Lopez. Lopez holding it out about 2 feet above the three-point line. Now Kimball to Joey Schneider. Snyder's pass back to Eric Kimball. Kimball drains the 3. So 3-1 in favor of Fort Morgan. Fort Morgan now with a full court press. Bowen gets the ball across half court, and I see that Blackston is now back into the game. Blackston's shot is up and no good. Rebounded by Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson's pass up to Kimball, and then a layup for Joey Snyder, and that is good. So Fort Morgan 5-1. Now ball up court to Bowen. He just does not quite. Now he does. Gets it across half court to Martinez. The Rebels two set up their half court offense. Now Martinez off to Medina. Medina out left on the left high wing over to Blackston. Now Blackston left-handed dribble over to Vestal. Vestal drives it down the lane. His pass is going to be intercepted by Tony Swetzik. Swetzik up to Kimball. Kimball now down the lane, and he's going to pass it off to Schneider. That ball is going to be tipped and taken away by the Rebels. So Fort Morgan with the early lead, 5-1 with 5:30 to go in the first period. Now ball to Medina. Medina into Martinez, guarded by Swetzik. Now back out to Vestal. Vestal being guarded by Leo Lopez. Now Lopez all over him. Now hands off to Medina. Medina guarded by Kimball. Now a three going to be taken by Bowen, and that's going to be rebounded by Blackston, and he's going to throw it back in off of Anderson as he falls out of bounds. So that will go to the Rebels to the right of the Morgan, to the right of their basket, with 5:08 to go in the first period. Ball into Martinez. Martinez's two is up and good, standing on the three-point line. So Martinez with 3 points for the Rebels in the first period. Now Leo Lopez. Pass over to Kimball on the left high wing. Back out to Lopez. Lopez over to Tony Swetzik on the right wing. Now back to Lopez out high over to Kimball. Kimball just inside the three-point line, up and no good. They're going to call Joy Snyder over the back on a foul, so that'll go over to the Rebels. So that'll be 2 team fouls on Fort Morgan, none yet on the Rebels. So Blackston with the ball in the back court, guarded by Tony Swetzik. He gets the ball up court, and now to Bowen. Bowen drives it down the center, and he passes out to Vestal. So Vestal with a 2. So that ties the score up at 5. So now Leo Lopez out high, setting up the Morgan offense. Gets to Tony Swetzik. Back to Lopez. Lopez about 7 feet above the three-point line. Now he starts to dribble, picks up his dribble, gives it off to Tony Swetzik. Swetzik's 3 is up and no good off the left side of the rim. Ball to Martinez for the Rebels. So Martinez to Blackston. Blackston into the lane, and his little runner is up and no good. Rebounded to Wes Anderson. Anderson to Lopez. Lopez to Kimball. Now to Tony Swetzik in the corner. Now the ball is going to be kicked by Blackston. So that will be Fort Morgan ball on the far sideline. Tony Swetzik inbounds the ball. Now Fort Morgan is going to call a 30-second timeout here to try to get things set up here. This Fort Morgan timeout is brought to you by State Farm Insurance. Let the State Farm Insurance office of Greg Mullen and Brush help you find the best policy to fit your life. Home, auto, life, health. State Farm Insurance is here for you and your family. Give Greg Mullen a call today at 842-4555. So with 3:43 to go in the first period, Fort Morgan Mustang boys leading the Rebels from Weld Central, it's tied at 5. Eric Kimball with 3, Joy Snyder with 2 points for Weld Central. Vestal has 1 basket, and Martinez has a basket and a free throw. So now Fort Morgan to inbounds far side. Leo Lopez gets it into Kimball. Kimball to Swetzik. Swetzik now hands off to Leo Lopez out high. Leo Lopez drives down the left side, hands it off to Swetzik. Swetzik back to Kimball. And he called a 3-second violation on Fort Morgan. So now Jake Frick in for Wes Anderson. So Fort Morgan with a full court pressure here. Tony Swetzik on Martinez. Now over to Blackston. Blackston with his left-handed dribble. He's being hounded by the Mustangs. Now a three up and no good by Martinez. Rebounded to Kimball. His pass down court to Leo Lopez. Leo Lopez pass underneath to Jake Frick. A beautiful no-look pass to Frick. Frick puts it up and in for the 7-5 lead for Fort Morgan. Now Blackston coming down the right sideline, and that's going to be a foul on Joey Schneider. That's going to be 2 on him. So now they're going to send Zach Garcia in, and Joey Schneider will take a seat with 2:59 to go in the first period. Fort Morgan leading 7-5. So the Rebels have the ball in their front court. Bowen drives down the right sideline, and he hands off to Medina. Medina over to Blackston. Blackston on the left sideline, guarded by Frick, and he dribbles it off of his foot. So that'll be a turnover by Weld Central. Now Medina to go out and Justin Smith in for the Rebels. So Fort Morgan inbounds the ball. Leo Lopez with the ball in backcourt. Getting ready to set up the Mustang offense. Leo Lopez to drive down the right side, but they're going to call, it's going to be an offensive foul. They're going to call that on Jake Frick. So that is Frick's first. 14 fouls on Fort Morgan. No team fouls yet on the Rebels. They get the ball in to Bowen. Bowen guarded by Leo Lopez. Now pass over to Martinez. Martinez trapped in the corner. He gets it back out. He gets it out to Vestal. Vestal on the left elbow, and then he dribbles off his foot. And then his pass to the center is going to be taken by Eric Kimball. And Eric Kimball's layup is up and good. So Kimball with 5 in the first period with 2:05 to go. Fort Morgan leading 9-5. So now Eric Kimball now over to Cody Bowen, back to Blackston, underneath to Smith. They're going to call a jump ball, and that's going to go to the Rebels. So Weld Central 2 inbounds the ball to the right of their basket. Looking to get the ball in, and they do, to Justin Smith in the corner, back to Blackston. Now to Bowen. Bowen back to Smith. Smith to Bowen. Bowen out on the right wing, now up to Martinez. Over to Vestal on the left wing. He gets it to Blackston in the left corner, and he dribbles, passes out to Martinez. That pass is going to be intercepted. Knocked away initially by Frick, and now Leo Lopez. Now a ball to Leo Lopez. Now Zach Garcia, 3 from the left, and that is good for Garcia. So 12-5 in favor of Fort Morgan with 1:10 to go in the first period. Martinez with the ball in the back court, guarded by Leo Lopez, now guarded by Tony Swetzik, and that's going to be a foul on Swetzik. So that's going to be 5 team fouls on Fort Morgan. Joey Schneider and TJ Bauer to go into the game. We'll see who comes out. Tony Swetzik to take a seat, and Joey Schneider to take a seat. Looks like Schneider got a bloody nose out of the deal. So the Rebels with the ball. Cody Bowen brings across half court, guarded by Zach Garcia. Picks up his dribble. Now to Medina. Now Medina guarded by Leo Lopez, over to Bowen. Bowen to Blackston. Blackston drives down the lane, and his shot is blocked by Eric Kimball. Off to Zach Garcia. Now to back to Kimball. Now over to Leo Lopez. Ball underneath. That's going to be taken away by Medina. Now Bauer takes the steal away at that far end of the court. They're going to call a foul on number 4, and that's going to be Medina, and that's going to be his first, also team first. So that was, the foul was called before any shot was taken. So now Ben Troop back into the game for Justin Smith. TJ Bauer to get the ball in, gets it into Lopez. Lopez back to Bauer, 3 from the left corner. That's off the rim and no good. They're going to call a foul on Weld Central. And that foul is going to go against Bowen. Jake Frick in there battling hard, and he draws the foul. Now ball is going to be up and good by Jake Frick. So 4 points in the game for Frick. 14-5 with 10 seconds to go in the first period. Now Medina drives down the baseline, taken by Zach Garcia in 5 seconds. Now layup, it up and no good at the buzzer by TJ Bauer. But a nice quarter by the Mustangs, leading 14-5 at the end of the first quarter. You're listening to Fort Morgan Mustangs basketball on B106 and B106.com. Back at Fort Morgan High School with Eric Nickel. This is Brian Nickel. Fort Morgan leading 14-5 at the start of the second period. Wes Anderson back into the game. He gets it in to Leo Lopez. Leo Lopez off to Tony Swetzik. Swetzik back to Lopez. Lopez to Zach Garcia on the right wing. Back out to Lopez. Lopez to Swetzik on the left high wing. Now back to Lopez out center high. Lopez to dribble off to the right wing. Now he gets it underneath to Tony Swetzik. Swetzik to Lopez in the corner. He dribbles out center high. Now Anderson sets a little screen for him on the left. Nice little runner up and no good by Leo Lopez. Rebounded to Medina for the Rebels. Now Bowen with the ball, guarded by Zach Garcia. Over to Troop, and now back to Medina. Medina guarded by Eric Kimball to Blackston. Now Blackston, he was going to lob it to Medina, but he threw it over his head, and then when Medina tried to save it inbounds, he was stepping on the sideline. So another turnover by the Weld Central Rebels, and that is 7 for them so far in the game. So Fort Morgan leading 14-5. Zach Garcia, left high wing, gets it back over to Lopez, back to Garcia. Garcia back to Lopez, now to Tony Swetzik. Swetzik on the right corner, now underneath for Anderson. Anderson's little underneath pass to Eric Kimball is good. Eric Kimball with the shot. I don't know what they were calling delay a game after it went through the basket. I'm not sure just what it was a warning. I'm not sure what it was. I'm not sure what, no foul or anything called, but I'm not sure what the warning, it was a warning of some type. So Fort Morgan leading 16-5 with 6:35 to go in the second period. So now we have a foul on Fort Morgan. It's going to go against Wes Anderson. He's away from the ball in the lane. So now Jake Frick back in for Anderson. With Rebels 2 inbounds left of their basket. Get it in to Vestal in the corner. Now back to Martinez. Martinez out left. Now center high. Back to Cody Bowen. Bowen guarded by Tony Swetzik. Back to Medina out high. Now over to Arnush, who has come in for the Rebels. Now cross court to Bowen. Bowen back to Vestal. Medina in the left corner inside the three-point line. He gets it back out to Arnish. Now back over to Vestal in the corner. He gets it back out to Martinez. Just left elbow. Now the ball is going to be tipped initially by Eric Kimball and then off of the Weld Central Rebels. So Fort Morgan gets the ball back on a turnover, leading 16-5. So Fort Morgan with the ball in their front court into Kimball at the free throw line. Back up to Garcia, left wing. Now to Kimball in the right corner. Back over to Garcia. Garcia to Lopez, back to Garcia, now to Swetzik in the left corner. Back out to Garcia. Garcia left high, now over to Leo Lopez, now over to Tony Swetzik on the right wing. Now underneath to Kimball. He passes it back out to Swetzik. His shot is off the side of the rim and no good. Rebounded by the Rebels. Fort Morgan leading 16-5 with 5:10 to go in the second period. So Vestal off to Medina. Medina over to Bowen on the right wing, and now he passes over to Vestal. Vestal underneath, but his pass is retained by the Rebels, knocked away for a second. Now to Arnish in the lane, now to Medina. They're going to call a travel. They called it on Medina, but it looked like Arnish actually traveled in the lane before he passed it. But anyway, turnover for the Rebels to Fort Morgan. Fort Morgan leading 16-5 with 4:40 to go in the second period. So Leo Lopez back out to Kimball. Kimball out high. Kimball drives down the lane, and they're going to call a blocking foul on number 4, and that's going to go against Medina of the Rebels. So ball out on the side. Ball out underneath left of the Mustang basket. 16 fouls on Fort Morgan, 3 on the Rebels. So Tony Swetzik looking to get the ball in. He does to Leo Lopez. Lopez to Kimball in the corner. Kimball drives. Nice layup for Kimball. So that's 4 points in the second period for Kimball. Fort Morgan leading 18-5 with 4:20 to go in the second period. Blackston now with the balls over to Bowen. Bowen out on the right wing. Now back to Vestal. Vestal underneath to Medina. Medina back out to Blackston. That shot up and no good. Rebound to Fort Morgan. Leo Lopez hustles down court. He drives it down and then he gives it to Jake Frick. Little layup for Frick is up and good. So Frick with 6 points. Big night for Frick so far. We're going to have a timeout taken by Weld Central. Fort Morgan leading this game 20-5 with 3:56 to go in the second period. You're listening to Fort Morgan Mustangs basketball on B106 and B106.com. Back at Fort Morgan High School, where the Fort Morgan Mustangs lead the Rebels 20-5 with 3:45 to go in the second period. Weld Central with the ball. Arnish out to Keaton Pippin, who is now in. Pippin is a 5'10 junior, guarded by Eric Kimball. Now over into the corner to Vestal. Vestal back out to Pippin. Pippin over to Bowen. Bowen at the left wing. He tries to drive it into the center. He's cut off by Garcia. Now a little shot up and no good by Arnish. Rebounded to Fort Morgan. Tony Swetzik in for a right-handed layup, up and no good, but rebounded to Zach Garcia. But there's going to be a foul called on the Rebels on the rebound. And that foul is going to go against Blackston for his first. So Fort Morgan inbounds the ball left of their basket. Eric Kimball to inbounds. He does to Leo Lopez. Leo Lopez up for a three off the backboard and no good. Now they're going to call Jake Frick for a reach-in foul. So that'll be Frick's second. And they're going to get Henry Weimer into the game and probably set Frick down. So 16 fouls, 17 fouls. So it'll be a 1-and-1. Be a 1-and-1 for Pippin. So Jake Frick to come out has 6 points on the night so far. Nice game for Frick. So the first shot is up and no good. They let the rebound to Vestal of Weld Central. So now the ball will be out of bounds off of Zach Garcia. So now Martinez back in for Arnish for the Rebels. Blackston with the ball out high. He's guarded by Henry Weimer. He picks up his dribble. Now back to Bowen. Bowen to Vestal. Vestal at the left elbow. Now Martinez. Martinez drives down the lane. He was looking for a foul, but he just ran. No foul called, and Eric Kimball ended up with the ball out of bounds. So Fort Morgan still leading 20-5 with 2:40 to go in the first half. Rebels get the ball into Pippin in the corner. Now taken away by Kimball. Kimball going to drive down, and he's going to be up for a layup, and that's going to be good, and one. That's going to be a foul on Pippin. So 2 points for Kimball. That's 6 in the quarter. Kimball with 11 on the night. So Kimball to go to the line to shoot one. His shot is up and good. So 12 points on the night for Kimball, 23-5 in favor of Fort Morgan with 2:30 to go in the first half. So Bowen back out to Vestal. Vestal at the right wing. Now over to Martinez at the left elbow. Now back over to Pippin. Pippin to Blackston. Blackston's going to go in. They're going to call a foul at the free throw line. That's going to go against Henry Weimer for his first. So that should be a 1-and-1. So Blackston to the line to shoot. So they're going to, first shot is up and no good. So now Kimball with the ball, drives down court. He gets to Zach Garcia. Garcia's shot is up and blocked by Bowen. They're going to get going to be a foul on the rebound. Henry Weimer comes down with it. And that foul is going to go on Weld Central. And that's going to be on Blackston. That's going to be his second. So Henry Weimer to come out and Bladen Pollitt to go in for the first time tonight. Pollitt with the ball in the corner. He gets to Leo Lopez. Now Kimball with a little shot from inside the three-point circle. No good, but Kimball gets the rebound on a blocked shot. Now over to Zach Garcia for a three, and that's off the rim and no good. But rebounded by Fort Morgan. Kimball with another shot, and that is good for a two for Kimball. So Fort Morgan up 20 points, 25-5 with 1:40 to go in the second period. They have the Rebels have not scored in this quarter. This is what happened at the tournament in Kersey. Fort Morgan held them to no points. Now Zach Garcia up with a layup and no good. Bladen Pollitt with the rebound. Now back over to Leo Lopez on the right wing. Leo Lopez dribbles in. His pass back out to Kimball. He is hit by number 34. That's going to be a foul on Pippin. So that should be a 1-and-1. They're going to call it on the shot. So Eric Kimball to the line to shoot two. His first shot is up and good. Nothing but net for that one. So 26-5. Fort Morgan and Weld Central played in the Northern Colorado Roundball Classic and held the Weld Central Rebels to 0 points in the second period of that game also. Second shot is also up and good. And that was the game that Fort Morgan beat Weld Central 43-21. So right now, Fort Morgan on that road again. They just have to take care of the ball. They're up 27-5 with 1 minute to go in the second period. Weld Central with the ball out high. We have somebody into the game. I'm not sure what their number is. Little layup by Troop. So that puts them on the board finally in the second period. So 42 seconds to go in the second period. And they're going to have a timeout called by the Rebels. There was kind of a scrum on the floor, but they had possession and called a timeout. So with 37 seconds to go in the first half, 27-7 in favor of Fort Morgan. Fort Morgan with only 4 turnovers, one in this second period. The Rebels have 11 so far in the first half. So the Rebels not taking care of the ball at all. Fort Morgan did a real good job so far in this first half of keeping the ball so they can at least try and make a shot. So now Weld Central with the ball, 35 seconds to go in the first half. Bowen with the ball, he picks up his dribble. Now out to Troop out on the right wing, guarded by TJ Bauer. Now back to Vestal. 20 seconds to go in the first half. Vestal passes out to Troop. Troop over to have a 42. I don't know who that is. Martinez for a three from the left wing, and that is good for Martinez. So with 5 seconds to go, TJ Bauer is going to be fouled. That foul is going to go on Troop. So that'll be 18 fouls. So TJ to go to the line to shoot a 1-and-1. So we'll see if he can get a couple of points here with 3.6 seconds to go in the first half. First shot is up and no good. Rebounded to the Weld Central Rebels. And they will get a shot off, and that is up and no good from just past half court. But at halftime, the Fort Morgan Mustangs leading the Weld Central Rebels 27-10. You're listening to Fort Morgan Mustangs basketball on B106 and B106.com. Back at Fort Morgan High School, there, Eric Nickel. This is Brian Nickel at halftime of the boys' game. Fort Morgan up 27-10. Nice half by the Mustangs, carrying over from their previous two games. Next on the agenda for the Fort Morgan Mustangs will be at Elizabeth this Friday, and they will play at 7 o'clock. Then they will be at Fort Lupton on the 12th. Then their last two games will be at home, Tuesday the 19th to Vista Peak, and then on the 21st to Skyview. So very important games for them to win if they want to try to get into the playoffs. If they win here tonight, they will leap over the Weld Central Rebels into that 5th place. So that'll be a big game this will be a big game for them to move up. So tonight we're getting quite a bit of playing time by some sophomores. TJ Bauer has played quite a bit tonight. Bladen Pollitt is a new player that just started playing last week. He has got some playing time here tonight. Joy Snyder and Eric Kimball also with a lot of playing time. Henry Weimer also with some playing time tonight. Weimer with 1 foul. Wes Anderson with 2, Joy Snyder with 2, Jake Frick with 2, and Tony Swetzik with 1. For Weld Central, Medina with 2, Blackston with 2, Pippin with 2, Bowen with 1, and Troop with 1. So Fort Morgan taking care of the ball in this first half. So as I said in the basketball standings, if Fort Morgan wins here, they will leap over Weld Central into 5th place, and Vista Peak will be their next team in sight that will be just above them. Vista Peak is sitting at 4-3. Skyview is also 4-3, and that is a team Fort Morgan beat last week 54-45. So there are some teams that Fort Morgan can beat here if they keep playing ball like they have here tonight. They have a good shot of getting into the playoffs. They just have to continue playing as they have. So now Weld Central to start the 3rd period with the ball. Now it looks like they're going to try to slow it down somewhat. Now Blackston over to Vestal. Vestal back to Blackston in the corner for a 3, and that is off the rim and no good. Rebounded to Vestal, and then a layup by Blackston. So Weld Central with the first points of the second half. Now Zach Garcia to Kimball on the right corner. Kimball inside to Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson's little jumper up and no good, and he's going to be called for his 3rd foul on the rebound. So Wes Anderson with foul number 3, first team foul on Fort Morgan. So now Blackston to bring the ball up court. Blackston still with the dribble against Kimball. Now hands off to Bowen. Bowen back to Blackston. Blackston drives into the lane, passes it off to Vestal out in the corner. Now back to Blackston driving the baseline. He kicks it back out to Martinez. Martinez being guarded by Tony Swetzik. And now he tries to bounce it off of Tony Swetzik, and apparently did. It looked like Tony had saved the ball, but he had a foot on the end line. So now Bowen with the ball just to the right of the basket. A little alley-oop into Blackston is no good. Wes Anderson with the rebound, and now up to Eric Kimball. Eric Kimball stops out at the left wing, gets it to Leo Lopez out high. Now Wes Anderson was going to set a pick, now comes back, now sets a pick for Tony Swetzig. Swetzig back out to Zach Garcia. Garcia to Anderson out on the left wing. Now back out to Garcia to Kimball from the right wing for a two, and that is good for Kimball. 27-12 in favor of Fort Morgan. 6:15 to go in the third period. Now Medina off to Martinez. Martinez he goes down for a travel, runs into Kimball, but Kimball was kind of giving ground, and Martinez goes down. So a turnover by Weld Central. So now Eric Kimball brings the ball up court, passes underneath to Leo Lopez. Leo Lopez gets it back out to Tony Swetzig out on the left wing. Tony Swetzig now dribbles to the center of the lane, gets it to Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson to Leo Lopez under the basket, back to Kimball. It's going to be a three for Kimball from the right corner. So 5 quick points here for Eric Kimball to start this second half. 32-12, 20-point lead again for Fort Morgan. Now the ball to Vestal out on the left wing. He takes it up high. It should have been a carry, but wasn't called. Now Vestal with the ball still, gets it to Martinez, guarded by Swetzig. Now back over to Medina, now to Blackston. And that ball is going to be taken away. They're going to call a foul on Vestal, which will be his first. So that'll be one team foul apiece for the teams here. Joy Schneider to come in for Wes Anderson. So Fort Morgan gets the ball inbounds far into the court. Leo Lopez brings the ball across half court with Fort Morgan leading 32-12 with 5:05 to go. Leo Lopez with the ball. Now to Tony Swetzig. Swetzig for a three, and that is nothing but the bottom of the net for Swetzig. Swetzig's first points of the game are a three, 35-12 in favor of Fort Morgan. Now Blackston. His pass over to Medina. Medina drives into the lane. Now back out to Vestal. Vestal turns into the lane. And now Medina tries to save the ball, but it's going to be taken by Fort Morgan. Now they have just called a technical foul on Medina. He apparently had something to say to the ref as he went by. So Medina with his third. Now, do they call a technical? Is that also? I'm not sure. I believe that is also a personal foul. They're only calling three, but that. So Eric Kimball to go to the line to shoot the technical. So Kimball to the line for two. The first one is good. They're calling three fouls on Medina. So the second shot for Eric Kimball is off the front of the rim and no good. That puts the Mustangs up 36-12 with 4:42 to go. So the Weld Central Rebels kind of falling apart here at the start of the third period. So Fort Morgan to inbounds the ball. Leo Lopez getting the signals from Coach Unrein on what play they want to run. Garcia now with the ball out at the left wing. Now tries to drive the baseline, and they're going to call a foul on Weld Central. And that's going to go against Arnush. That is his first. That is team foul number 5 for the Rebels. And now Fort Morgan with the ball down court. Blackston goes up for a shot, but that's going to be a foul, I believe, on Joey Snyder. Yes, it is. That's going to be 3 on Joey. So Blackston to go to the line to shoot 2. His first shot is up and off the front of the rim. Just about didn't get there. So Blackston not having a good night shooting the ball, and neither is Bowen. Bowen is still held scoreless. Second shot is also no good for Blackston. So Leo Lopez with the ball up court. Now Weld Central trying to do a little trap here. Now back out to Garcia out high. Leo Lopez. That's going to be taken by Blackston. Then he tries to save the ball in bounds, and that's going to be saved to Fort Morgan, but they're going to lose it back out of bounds. So that'll go to Weld Central. So we have something. Refs have something going on here with some people leaving the gym. I don't know if they have a little bit of a crowd problem here tonight. I'm not sure just what it was. Whoever the problem was, I think, just left the gym. So now Weld Central with the ball. Fort Morgan leading 36-12 with 3:50 to go. They're going to call a foul on Fort Morgan. That is going to be Frick's third. So Jake Frick, Joey Snyder, and Wes Anderson each with 3. Fort Morgan with 3 team fouls. The Rebels with 5. So the Rebels to get the ball in court to Blackston. Blackston tries to drive it down the left side of the lane, and his shot is going to be up and no good, but they're going to call a foul on Eric Kimball. So that's going to be Kimball's first foul. So Blackston to go to the line to shoot 2. His first shot is up, and that one goes in. Grocery cart, stop, shop, and save with all your grocery needs and snacks. For game time enjoyment, 1302 West Edison Street in Brush. Second shot is also good by Blackston. So 36-14, Leo Lopez with the ball up court. Gets it to Zach Garcia, back to Lopez, over to Tony Swetzik. Leo Lopez is bumped by Arnish. That is going to be Arnish's second. There'll be 16 fouls on the Rebels. Next one will put Fort Morgan into the 1-1. So Leo Lopez with the ball in the backcourt, guarded by Martinez. Now to Tony Swetzik. And that ball is going to be taken away by Arnish. And that foul is going to be, shot is up and no good. They're going to call a foul on Fort Morgan. And I believe it was on Leo Lopez. They're going to call that on. Going to go on Zach Garcia. Zach Garcia with the foul. So now we have a blocking foul on Weld Central, with Eric Kimball to go to the line. And that foul is going to be on number 42, which I have no name for, and they say that is his third. So Eric Kimball to go to the line for a 1-1, and that first one is up and good for Eric. So 37-16, 3:16 to go in the third period. Eric Kimball to the line to shoot free throw number 2, and that is in and out. Taken away by Zach Garcia. Now to Tony Swetzik, to Lopez. Lopez over to Kimball, back over to Swetzik. Now underneath to Pollitt. His pass is intercepted in the lane by Arnish, taken off to Blackston. Now Blackston, his ball, it tries to get fancy, and that's going to be taken away by Lopez to Swetzik for the layup. So Swetzik with 5 points in the game, 5 in this quarter, 39-16. Favor of Fort Morgan. Martinez with the ball, guarded by Leo Lopez. Now looks like kind of a 2-3 defense by Fort Morgan, kind of a zone it looks like. Now Martinez to Blackston in the corner for a 3, and that is off the rim and no good. Rebound, nice strong rebound by Garcia. Garcia to Lopez. Lopez still in the back court. Nice screen by Zach Garcia. Lopez up and good for the coast to coast on the layup. So that was good for Lopez. So 41-16 in favor of Fort Morgan. Now a 3 from the corner by Vestal is no good. Rebounded to to the Rebels. Now there's going to be a foul. I believe that's going to be on Eric Kimball. So that'll be 2 on Kimball. Blackston to go to the line. Wes Anderson comes out, and Eric Kimball to set for a minute so he doesn't pick up his third foul real quick here. Now to Weld Central. Now a 3 from the corner from Martinez is over the basket. Last touch by Pollitt of Fort Morgan. So Pollitt putting in some significant time here. So now Martinez to inbounds to the right of their basket. Tries to get it in and does get it into Pippen. Pippen now to Arnish. Arnish back to Pippen out high. Pippen back to Arnish. Arnish is going to be called for is going to be fouled. That's going to be a 1-and-1. That was going to go against Leo Lopez, I believe, is who they called that on. So that's Leo's first. So Arnish to the line to shoot 1-and-1. His first shot is up and good. That's his first point on the night. Now Eric Kimball to come back in. Tony Swetsik to take a seat. So 41-17 in favor of the Fort Morgan Mustangs. So now Arnish with shot number 2, and that is also good. So 41-18, Fort Morgan in control. Zach Garcia out to Leo Lopez. Leo Lopez drives down the lane, and then tries to pass outside, and it is taken away by the Rebels. Now Vestal down in his end of the court. Pippen with the ball being guarded by Pollitt. Now over to Arnish. Arnish being guarded by Wes Anderson. That ball is tipped and taken by Leo Lopez. Leo Lopez hustles down court and shot up and no good by Zach Garcia. But the ball is going to be tipped out to Leo Lopez. Now Wes Anderson in the corner to back out to Leo Lopez out high with 50 seconds to go in the third period. Fort Morgan leading 41-18. Zach Garcia now back over to Kimball on the left wing to Wes Anderson at the free throw line. Now a 3 by Lopez is no good. Tip up and no good by Zach Garcia. Now we're going to have a jump ball called, I believe. Yes, they do call a jump, and that will be Fort Morgan's ball with 33.6 seconds to go in the third period. So now Fort Morgan inbounds right of their basket. Zach Garcia looking to get the ball in, does to Wes Anderson. His little shot is passed to Eric Kimball, but they're going to call Weld Central for the foul, and that is going to go against Troop. That will be his second. So Eric Kimball to the line to shoot a 1-and-1. So now Hoffman into the game for Leo Lopez. So Matthew Hoffman in for the first time tonight. Eric Kimball to the line for a 1-and-1, and his first shot is nothing but the bottom of the net. So 42-18 with 31.3 seconds to go in the third period. Kimball now with shot number 2, also good. 43-18 with 30 seconds to go in the third period. Weld Central with the ball down court. Cody Bowen with a fadeaway and no good. Rebounded to Pollitt. Now to Hoffman. Hoffman up to Zach Garcia. Garcia back to Hoffman. Hoffman up and his shot is no good. Tipped up by Anderson with 10 seconds to go. Now we have on the floor, and they're going to call a foul, I believe, on Weld Central. They're going to call a foul on Troop. So Wes Anderson to the line for a 1-and-1 with 9.2 seconds to go in the third period. So Wes Anderson for a 1-and-1, and his first shot is good. So Anderson with his first point of the night. TJ Bauer and Eric Kimball to take a seat for the last 9.2 seconds of the third period. So Wes Anderson with shot number 2 coming. And that is off the back of the rim, no good, but rebounded by Pollitt. Pollitt needs to go up. His little left-hander bounces off and no good. Rebounded to Weld Central with no time left on the clock. They don't even get a shot off. So at the end of the third period, Fort Morgan Mustangs lead 44-18. You're listening to Fort Morgan Mustangs basketball on B106 and B106.com. Back at Fort Morgan High School, where the Fort Morgan Mustangs lead Weld Central Rebels 44-18 at the start of the fourth period. Weld Central with the ball in their end of the court. Shot up. They're going to call a foul. A hold on. I thought they said 41. It must be 31 against Anderson. So that's going to be 4 on Wes Anderson. So Jake Frick in immediately for Anderson. So Jake Frick on the night with 6 points. So the first shot by Martinez is up and good. 7 points on the night for Martinez. So shot number 2 coming up for Martinez. His second shot is in, bounced around and went in. So a 24-point lead for the Mustangs here in the fourth period. Now they're going to have a call on Martinez. That is only his first. But that is 10 team fouls on the Rebels. So Leo Lopez to go to the line to shoot 2. So 7:40 to go in the fourth period. Leo Lopez shot is up and good. So that's 3 points on the night for Lopez. Leo Lopez shot number 2 is up and also good. So 46-20, Fort Morgan with a 26-point lead with 7:35 to go in the game. So Cody Bowen with the ball against Leo Lopez. Now against Joey Snyder. Snyder's going to be called for the foul. So that's going to be Snyder's fourth. So that'll be a 1-and-1. And that will send Cody Bowen to the line for a 1-and-1. Now Zach Garcia into the game for Joey Snyder. So Bowen, first shot is up and good. His first points on the night. So shot number 2 to come up here. Second shot is also good. So 46-22 in favor of Fort Morgan with 7:27 to go in the fourth period. Leo Lopez off to Tony Swetzig. Swetzig back to Lopez. Lopez to Garcia. Garcia to Kimball in the left corner. Now back out to Garcia. Garcia to Kimball back in the left corner. Now to Swetzig in the lane. He's going to pass it out to Leo Lopez, and he's going to be fouled by Blackston. That's going to be 3 on Blackston. So Leo Lopez to go to the line to shoot 2. Weld Central over the limit. So Leo's first shot up and good. He is 3 for 3 so far from the free throw line. One more to come here. 47-22. Fort Morgan leading. Second shot is also good by Leo. So 48-22. Weld Central with the ball in their end of the court. Blackston against Jake Frick. Now out to Pippin. Pippin now to. His shot was blocked. I believe that was by Frick. Now they inbounds the ball. Pippin to the right of the basket. Now into Blackston. Back to Vestal. Vestal's shot is no good. Rebounded to Blackston. Now Vestal from the right wing, and that is no good. Eric Kimball with the rebound. And that's going to be out to Swetzig, but he is going to be fouled by Blackston. That is going to be 4 on Blackston. They're calling that 5 on Blackston. Oh, no, he didn't have the I missed a foul here someplace. He wasn't the one with the technical, I don't believe, but they're calling him with 5 fouls. So we'll give him 5 fouls. So Tony Svetzig to the line. His first shot is up and no good off the front of the rim. So Fort Morgan leading 48-22. That shot off the back of the rim and also no good for Tony, who is usually real good at the free throw line. Now ball down court and good. And that was good by Bowen for his first basket of the game. He has 4 on the night. Now ball into Jake Frick, but he is going to be fouled by Bowen. That is his second. So 48-24, Fort Morgan in control of this game with 6:22 to go in the fourth quarter. So Jake Frick to the line to shoot 2. So Jake Frick with shot number 1. Excellent shot there. Nothing but the bottom of the net. So Frick with shot number 2 to come up here. 49-24. Jake Frick with free throw number 2 also good. Looks like he's been doing a little practicing. Last time he was to the line, the last game that I had seen, he wasn't having a good night, but right now he's 2 for 2. So now Martinez with the ball in. Ball is going to be kicked out of bounds by Fort Morgan. So ball to be inbounds by the Rebels on the far side by Bowen. Bowen out to Martinez, out high. Martinez is going to be fouled by Frick. That is going to be 4 on Jake Frick. So now Martinez to go to the line to shoot 2. Fort Morgan now over the limit. So Martinez, his first shot is up and good. So Martinez is 3 of 5 so far from the free throw line tonight. Now number 42, who I do not have a name for, is into the game for the Rebels. Martinez's second shot is up and no good. Rebounded to Garrett Reagan, who is now into the game for the Mustangs. Leo Lopez gets it into Eric Kimball down low. Kimball's shot is up and good and 1. So Kimball, and that foul is going to go against Troop, and that is going to be 4 on Troop. So Eric Kimball to the line to shoot 1. 52-25, 17-point lead here for how about a 27-point lead for the Mustangs. Shot is no good. Rebounded to Bowen for the Rebels. Bowen all the way down to the free throw line, and he backs it out to Martinez. Martinez guarded by Tony Svetzig. Martinez's shot is up and no good, but they're going to call a jump ball under the basket, and that will go to Fort Morgan. Every time the Rebels go up with a shot and miss, if they're looking at their coach and wondering how come there's not a foul being called, maybe they just need to play ball and don't worry about what the refs are doing. So now Leo Lopez, Tony Svetzig for a deep 3, and that is off the front of the rim, no good, but rebounded by Garrett Reagan. Garrett Reagan back to the left corner to Svetzig, out to Kimball. Kimball over to Leo Lopez on the left wing. Leo Lopez drives in now. Zach Garcia from the left corner, and that's off the front of the rim and no good. But Garrett Reagan with a rebound up and no good. Now Zach Garcia with a rebound. They kick it back out. Now Kimball with 5 minutes to go in the game, 52-25. Fort Morgan in the fourth period. Now Leo Lopez being double teamed gets it to Zach Garcia down in the left corner. Now into Kimball. Kimball's little shot is off the rim. Oh, it does. It goes in. So Kimball gets the basket, bounced around and went in. 54-25, a 29-point lead for the Fort Morgan Mustangs with 4:40 to go in the game. So now Martinez for a 3 from the right wing, no good. Rebounded to Zach Garcia. Garcia up to Leo Lopez. Leo Lopez crossed half court. Now back out to Garcia to Tony Svetzig for a 3, and that's off the side of the rim and no good. Now rebounded to number 42 for the Rebels. So 4:15 to go in the game. Fort Morgan up 54-25. Now over to Martinez. Martinez dribbles around back over to the right Gets it off to Bowen. Now Bowen shot off the back of the rim and no good. Rebounded to the Rebels, and then a pass back out, but it was knocked out of bounds. So the ball will stay with the Rebels. Fort Morgan leading 54-25. So the Rebels get the ball inbounds to Martinez. Now Martinez picks up his dribble. Now over into the corner. That ball is going to be taken away by Zach Garcia. Now Leo Lopez up the right sideline. Leo Lopez with a nice spinning dribble underneath to Zach Garcia, and his shot is up and no good. Rebounded by Bowen. Bowen down court. He pulls it back out. Now tries to go back underneath. Shot is going to be up, but he should be called for a travel, and he was. So turnover by the Rebels. 3:26 to go in the game, and now that should be a intentional foul on Martinez. He just pushed Leo Lopez to the floor. I don't know what that was all about, but that should have been a intentional foul. I don't know what Martinez is thinking there. Apparently it is going to be one because Leo Lopez. No. I don't know why that was not an intentional foul. That's crazy. But Leo Lopez will go to the line to shoot two. So Leo Lopez with shot number one up and good. So now Eric Kimball and Zach Garcia fill the lane on the second shot here by Leo Lopez. So Leo Lopez's second shot is also good. So Fort Morgan with a 31-point lead with 3:24 to go in the game. Now Weld Central down at their end. Bowen gets it off to Martinez. Martinez out around the three-point line. He launches a three, and that is no good. Rebounded by Garrett Reagan. His pass outside is tipped, but he gets it back. Now Leo Lopez to Kimball. Kimball is up, and his shot is going to be blocked by Bowen. They called a jump ball. I'm not sure how they got a jump ball out of that. It looked like it was blocked out of bounds. So that ball will go to the Weld Central Rebels. And now Bowen to leave the game. Rebels with some subs in now. Pippen in, Justin Smith also in, Arnish in. Arnish dribbles to the center of the lane, and he back out, and it's going to be saved back into Fort Morgan. Garrett Reagan with the ball. He is going to go up for the layup and no good, but Eric Kimball has the ball, and it's going to be a foul on Arnish. That's going to be three on Arnish. It's getting kind of sloppy here in the second half. But so Eric Kimball will go to the line to shoot two. Fort Morgan leading 56-25 with 2:40 to go. Fort Morgan's going to make some wholesale changes here in a minute after this first free throw. So Eric Kimball to the line for two. His first shot is in and out. So we'll see who comes in here for Matthew Hoffman, TJ Bauer. Bauer is going to go in for Kimball apparently. Henry Weimer, Areo Canas. Garrett Reagan is in. So Eric Kimball for shot number two. Eric Kimball's shot is good. So now Kimball to take a seat. TJ Bauer into the game. Eric Kimball with an excellent night tonight. So now Pippen with the ball up court against TJ over to Smith. Smith back to 42. We still don't have a name for him. Back to Troop. Troop is guarded by Hoffman. Hoffman off to Smith. Smith is his shot is going to be blocked by Reagan, and then Reagan tries to save it, but it's going to be out of bounds to Weld Central. So with 2:16 to go in the game, Fort Morgan leading by 32, 57-25. So ball into Troop. Troop being guarded by Hoffman. Now over into the corner to Smith. Back out to Arnish. Arnish over to 42. Now back out to Smith. And then we're going to have a three taken by Troop. So that is 5 on the night for Troop. Now TJ with the ball up the court. And now Matthew Hoffman with the ball. He was forced out of bounds, so the ball will go over to the Rebels. Fort Morgan leading 57-28 with a minute 45 to go in the game. So Pippin with the ball, holding it out high. Now over to Justin Smith, back to Troop. Troop to Arnish. Arnish's shot is up and no good. Rebounded by Henry Weimer. Now TJ Bauer with a minute 25 to go brings it up past half court. Now Garrett Reagan with the ball. Back out to Bauer. Bauer's shot is up and is passed to O'Connor, and his layup is good. So O'Connor on the board tonight with 2, 59-28 in favor of Fort Morgan with a minute 5 to go in the game. So Troop with the ball. Now underneath to Smith. Smith shot up and no good. And now 42 shot up and no good. Rebounded to Garrett Reagan. Now to TJ Bauer with 50 seconds to go. TJ Bauer across half court. Now out to Matthew Hoffman. I don't know why they don't call a foul there. He's getting now Garrett Reagan with a three, and that's off the side of the rim and no good. And now rebounded to Weld Central, but 27 seconds to go in the game. Fort Morgan leading 59-28. Now back out to Troop for another three, and that shot is no good. Rebounded but put up by number 42, whoever that is. So we have 10 seconds to go in the game. Fort Morgan to get the ball across half court. TJ Bauer will just hold the ball out there. We now have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0 at the end of the game. Big victory here for the Fort Morgan Mustangs. 59-30 over the Weld Central Rebels. You're listening to Fort Morgan Mustangs basketball on B106 and B106.com. Back at Fort Morgan High School, where the Fort Morgan Mustangs have annihilated the Weld Central Rebels 59-30. Big win here for the Mustangs, as that puts them now in 5th place in the standings in the league. So we'll go to the scoring here for the Weld Central Rebels. Leading them was Martinez with 9, followed by Troop with 5. Blackston only 4 for the night. Bowen only 4 for the night, and they were both double-figure scorers up until tonight. Also for Weld Central, Arnish has 4. We have a number 42. I'm sorry, I do not have a name for him. He had 2, and Vestal had 2. So for Fort Morgan, their leading scorer, Eric Kimball, 30 points on the night. Great game for Eric Kimball tonight. 9 points from the free throw line alone. Two players with 8, and that is Jake Frick and Leo Lopez, also with 8. Swetzik with 5. Garcia with 3. Schneider with 2. Anderson with 1. And I believe I said O'Connor. He also had 2 for the Mustangs. So big win here for the Mustangs tonight. On the turnovers, Fort Morgan only 10 on the night. Only 1 turnover in the 4th period. Weld Central with 18 turnovers. Fort Morgan out-rebounded the Weld Central Rebels 25-15. So big night for the Mustangs, scoring and also as far as rebounding and keeping the turnovers real low. And also keeping Blackston and Bowen only to 4 points apiece. So that all adds up to a big victory here tonight over the Weld Central Rebels. The next games for the Fort Morgan Mustang boys will be 7 o'clock Friday night at Elizabeth. The girls will also be there, so they will have a doubleheader at Elizabeth. The girls at 5:30, the boys at 7. And both of those games can be heard right here on B106 and B106.com. This Mustang postgame show is brought to you by High Plains Bank in Wiggins. The friendly staff at High Plains Bank in Wiggins is ready to assist you with a home loan, equity line of credit, commercial loan, or checking account. To receive hometown service on a higher plane, visit High Plains Bank today. So the Fort Morgan boys victorious tonight, 59-30. The girls fall to Weld Central, 47-41. So it looks like they're trying to get things closed up here. So the sound engineer and producer of Fort Morgan Mustangs basketball has been Braden Godin. Braden always does a nice job for us, and as always, does a fine job for us tonight. The final score again for the boys, Fort Morgan 59, Weld Central 30. For Eric Nickel, this is Brian Nickel. You've been listening to Fort Morgan Mustangs basketball on B106 and B106.com. Good night, everyone.